This message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. Continue to carry out the following instructions. The broadcast will quiet at this time for your safety. All television and radio stations in the United States will now cease their regular programming to carry this special message. Good luck!
Welcome everybody to JFM Studios Halloween special. Yeah, actually it's more like a showcase where I show you some of my Halloween related art, but still, it's something. This ain't no trick. It's a treat for you loyal subscribers who've been patiently waiting on some new videos of mine, and here you go. Let's look at some new pictures done by me. And they're so cool. I can't wait to talk about them. So, yeah, here we go. The first picture I'm going to show you is my own little parody of Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Oh, yeah. Jeff and Taylor's Pet Sematary. So imagine, if you will, if Jeff and Taylor was an animated series, I would totally do like a little Halloween special, like a Treehouse of Horror, only instead of 3 little segments in half an hour, it'll just be one parody for the whole entire episode. And of course it's non-canon. It's just, let's just say a character is telling a scary story. So, yeah, I imagine one of those stories will be a parody of Pet Sematary. And I already wrote the first act, which is the first, third of the episode. So, yeah, let us read it while looking at the picture, the cool picture. I really love this picture, for real. No, it's really based off of the 1989 movie, really, because you see the actor who plays Judd right down there, don't want to go that road. Alright, so here we go, Act 1 summary. Jeff and Taylor learn about a tiny graveyard called Pet Sematary in the woods. There, they meet an old man named Judd Crandall, who told them about a cursed ancient Indian burial ground nearby. Just down that road there. You don't want to go near that road, he warned them. Judd mentioned that a dead man was once buried in that cursed ground. Hours later, he returned from the dead, but he acted different. Jeff didn't believe him, but Taylor got scared. They went home to play baseball. Jeff threw the ball towards Taylor, and he hit the damn thing so hard that the skin fell off, and it hit Crazy Cat in the head, killing it instantly. Its grumpy face was still on it. Jeff and Taylor panicked. Taylor felt guilty for killing an innocent creature. Crazy Cat was nobody's pet, so no one will notice, right? Taylor still felt bad and had the ludicrous idea of burying Crazy Cat in that cursed Indian graveyard to see if the cat will return. So the boys did just that, not telling anyone about it. The next morning, Jeff woke up to Crazy Cat staring at him through the window. He was shocked. The story was true. He ran to Taylor's house to tell him the news. Taylor was happy that the cat was okay, but it keeps staring at them. All day. No matter where the boys were, the cat would stare at them. Of course, it would go back and forth between the two, but still, it was scary. Later that day, they were visiting Jane at her house. Cassidy was there too. Both Jeff and Taylor couldn't relax due to the undead Crazy Cat stalking them. Jeff went outside the house to yell at Crazy Cat, but it was nowhere to be found. Cassidy and Jane went outside to see what's bugging Jeff. Taylor stayed inside watching TV. Jane's mom, Rosie, walked down the stairs, about to ask him what they wanted for dinner. Suddenly, the undead Crazy Cat appeared to be resting on the stairs. Rosie accidentally stepped on its tail, tripping her down the stairs, which resulted to a broken neck, killing her. Taylor was mortified. Jane and Cassidy were still outside looking for the cat as Jeff went inside the house to see Taylor struggling to pick up Jane's dead mother. "Taylor? What happened?" Jeff yelled. "I don't know. That crazy cat tripped Jane's mom and now she's dead." "Shh!" Jeff hushed his friend. "Don't say anything. I know what I'll do. I'll distract Jane and Cass while you drag Miss Cathaway to that cursed graveyard." Taylor was reluctant, but he did just that. Took him 3 hours, but the deed was done. Jane was concerned about her mom not being around. Jeff told her that she was out shopping for cake. Taylor returned, and along with him, an undead Rosie, covered in dirt and a dangling neck. Jane was confused on why her mother looked so strange. Even weirder was that she didn't have any cake. Jeff and Taylor then told the girls that they'll be leaving. Rosie dragged her feet to the kitchen, preparing to make a crappy dinner. And that's the end of Act 1. Oh man, that is pretty crazy. I imagine I didn't write the rest of the episode in detail because I just really couldn't think of any of the details, But I know in gist that later they accidentally kill more characters like Cassidy, Cindy, David, Maria, and even Ashley. That's why you see their figures in the background here. So they resurrect them to try to make everything normal, but no. The difference between this parody and the actual book is that the undead people don't try to kill Jeff and Taylor. They just act like zombie versions of themselves, only without the killing and eating and whatnot. They try to do what they normally do, but they suck at it, Rosie likes to make dinner, but as a zombie, she makes a crappy dinner, David likes to work on his car, but as a zombie, he just, punches his car, kicks it, all that stuff. The opposite of what they would like to do. So, Taylor, in the bottom left-hand corner, you see Taylor as a shadowy figure. I like how this looks, but he's in the graveyard, preparing to bury somebody or dig somebody right back up. No, it's bury somebody. They would get out there by themselves. But yeah, I like that shot, that little silhouette, and you can totally tell it's Taylor because of the hair. And Judd Crandall is in the bottom right corner. That's him, based on the actor. I forgot the actor's name. But right behind him is trees. That's an actual photograph that I took. I just didn't know what to put behind Judd, so I'm like, okay, I'll put photographs of trees that I took and put it like a red filter right there, make it creepy. And near the end of this little parody, Jane gets killed accidentally, or no, she finds out that Jeff and Taylor pretty much was responsible for the death of her mother, so she runs away, afraid of them, and then she gets run over by a truck. And, she's, her head is practically bashed in, her eyes missing, so that horrified Jeff, and he's like, we have to resurrect her. We have to resurrect her. He becomes crazy. And then Taylor's like, no, don't do it, man. Don't do it. And then Jeff is like, no, you will do what I say. He's like threatening Taylor with a knife or something. Go resurrect Jane. And then Taylor, he reluctantly does it. Jane is a zombie. Jeff is so obsessed with Jane at this moment. He turns insane. He's like, you're beautiful, Jane. And he attempts to kiss her and make out with her bloody corpse. Taylor becomes a bit crazy too. He runs away, and he just wants to bury himself alive in that graveyard, wondering what will happen to him. And that's the end. That is the end of Jeff and Taylor's Pet Cemetery. I really like everything. I like the contrast of the red in the bottom and the blue on top. A little bit of purple in between, I like the trees. I like the creepy trees. And if you're wondering where I got the idea to make those eyes in the background look like that, well, there is a Goosebump cover called The Haunted School. And what always creeped me out were those eyes inside the locker. and I'm like, that's good. Tim Jacobus really did a great job with that artwork. So I'm like, that always scared me as a kid. So I'm like, I'm gonna do something like that. Make those eyes. That's why the character's eyes look so weird. They look so fuzzy. Contrast with their shadowy silhouettes. And yeah, that is Jeff and Taylor's Pet Cemetery. Hope you enjoyed that little 1/3 of the story, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. If somebody wants to finish that fan, make it into a fan fiction or something, or finish the story, I totally welcome that. I'm too busy with the main canon series, and the quickies. So definitely, if somebody wants to make that for fun, you have my blessing. All right, so that's the big project, one of my personal faves. Now we have this, my own little version of Tales from the Crypt. No, not Tales from the Crypt. What am I talking about? It's crime suspense stories. This is one of those EC comics back in the 50s where people would ban it, because it's so obscene. Hey, society today, they blame, let's say, I hate to say it, they blame SJWs for censoring things. They're saying, you can't do that, you can't do that. Dude, it was much worse in the 50s. Censorship was rampant back in the 50s and 60s, especially with comics. They thought comics would demonize children. And these EC comics they're mostly suspense and horror based, And because of those comics, that Comics Code Authority, that government-funded thing, in order for a comic to be approved, you must, one of the main rules is no stories or images involving the occult. No vampires, no werewolves, no zombies or anything like that. Nothing scary, because that will corrupt the youth. So, yeah. Be lucky. We have much more freedoms when it comes to art today than back 50 years ago, 50, 60 years ago, That's why I get so annoyed when people complain about SJWs, but, that's not my lane. But still, crime suspense stories. This is a very infamous one. You see a man holding up it appears to be a severed woman's head by the hair, and it looks like that he chopped it off with what appears to be blood. It's kind of censored. It's black, but you never know. Was that actually a human? That we made this picture may be literal. That black blood may be oil, and she's actually an android. And the look on her face, that's her malfunctioning. So yeah, you never know. I haven't read the actual the original books. I don't know what's going on. But still, I really like my own version. Even the legs, I made the legs different, and I had no reference. I had no reference for the legs. Wanted to do it myself, and I'm proud how that turned out. And what else can I say about this? Made it into my own. The design, the logo. It's more contemporary compared to the 50s version. And the little blip. Tension in the tradition. Kind of like what I do with my Jeff and Taylor issues, but in the original, tension in the tradition was like what they say on all their issues, I think. It wasn't the title of the actual issue itself, but I don't know. EC Comics, pretty cool. If any of you guys, any of my viewers who has a lot of knowledge of the EC Comics, like if they were, like to my older viewers, if they grew up on EC Comics, please feel free to talk about them, and give us your opinions and what went on back then with the Comics Code Authority and the censorship. We could all use some education when it comes to the old school comics. And in the corner, I didn't know what to put as a picture, so I put that little pinup of Jenny right there. Anyway, on to the next picture. This is a fun little picture that I've always wanted to do for years, never had the chance to do it, but now this year I finally did it. It's a fun little crossover with Jeff and Taylor and the girls from Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. Man, it's been a long time since I've seen it, and ever since, like a couple years ago, it's been resurrected in some way. Like I've seen fan art of the girls, and I'm like, oh man, this is so awesome that they're back. So I wanted to draw them with Jeff and Taylor together. I don't know what they'll be doing. Certainly the boys aren't certified to be PE teachers, but I guess they'd stumble across their little castle, their little school, lost, and the girls would just take care of them. But of course the boys would be scared, and they don't eating the rotten food and everything. That they'll have to get used to things. But yeah, if somebody wants to make fan fiction of this, you have my blessing. You know, it's just a fun little crossover, and I just wanted to draw the girls in their original style because I just want to show off, you know, that I am versatile. I'm not stuck in this Tooname bubble. I can draw any cartoon character. I just choose not to most of the time because I'm not one for fan art most of the time, because I'm way too passionate about my own original work that I don't have a chance, that I really have no interest to draw other cartoon characters just for fun, even though I should, to market myself. But still, if my heart isn't in it, I won't do it. But luckily my heart was in it for this little crossover. I did make one little change though on Sabella's nose. I originally drew the two holes right there as seen in the actual, you know, character model, but it just didn't look right to me. So I added a little bridge right there just to make her look better to me. You know, it just didn't look right. Phantasma looks okay with those two holes, but Sabella just didn't look right to me. I don't know. So yeah, there you have it. And of course, I drew Amanda in a Halloween costume this year again. So I had a little poll on DeviantArt seeing what costume she would wear. Would she be Chun-Li, a mermaid, Princess Zelda, or a pirate? So people voted, and most of them voted for Chun-Li. And I also had a little poll on Instagram seeing if they want me to draw Amanda as a kid or Amanda as an adult. And adult overwhelmingly won. So here we go, adult Amanda dressed as Chun-Li, and she looks great. I added 3 buns because Amanda has 3 long ponytails. So yeah, she's looking good, looking real good. And there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this little video. I have some big announcements pretty soon, and of course I will make another video about me talking about my obsession with followers, you know. So yeah, there you have it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween. Be safe out there, be responsible, and have a good time. Alright, JFM out guys, and I'll see you later.